Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find latest album reviews. You can find our band interviews, and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. I went to the Simulation tour last night, and I will be posting live sets of that, as well as the 4 Year Strong acoustic tour, which I forgot to post. Those will all be going out soon, hopefully within the next week or so. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. I'll also be doing an album review of the newest Youth Fountain record, which comes out this Friday. I'm hoping to do that before it comes out on Friday, but if not, it will definitely be out on that day, so keep your eyes peeled for that, and a ton of interviews, album reviews, things to come in the future, so definitely keep your eyes peeled. But tonight we're going to be talking about Holding Absence's newest record. They're self-titled. I want to give a huge shout outs to Austin over at Secret Service Publicity Group. He's the one who sent me this over early, probably about a couple weeks ago. So huge shout outs to him, and shout outs to Sharp Tone Records. I feel like they're one of the better up and coming record labels in 2019. So definitely keep your ears to the ground for that record label, because I feel like they have some really awesome bands that will be coming out very soon. But anyway, I've been a huge fan of this band for a while, and this was one of my more anticipated records of 2019. I actually found out about them a long time ago on Dreambound. I actually interviewed Feasel forever ago. Now Feasel's in Loathe, but anyway, I've been following this band ever since then. They did that split with Loathe last year, I believe, and that was phenomenal, and I feel like it kind of got me excited and definitely stoked to listen to this record. So if you haven't checked out any of the singles, I think there's like 4 singles out now, and you should definitely give them all a listen, because they are all really great. But I'm going to go through each track, give you my thoughts and opinions on it, go through some pros and cons, and then finish it out with an overall rating. So the first track is called Perish. This one's one of my favorites. It happens to be one of the singles, and I believe it was the first track that they released, barring this new record. I think it has this cool sort of ethereal ambient opening to it. Just something that I've always liked about their music. I feel like this one kind of plays off of more of their darker tonality, which is also really nice. I feel like you can kind of hear that in more like dark pop bands. Like one that comes to mind initially is Paris. You can kind of get that sort of vibe from them as well. The song kind of kicks in at around the 1:08 mark with that really sort of aggressive guitar, the drumming, the bass. It just really kind of hits you full force at that point. I love Lucas's approach to vocals. I feel like he has more of a softer, mellow tonality to his voice in the sort of verses portion of the song, and then showing more of an aggressive flair, conversely, in the choruses, which I think is a really nice counterbalance that you'll hear throughout this entire record. And I think it also shows a lot of his vocal diversity as well, just doing anything from kind of a scream sort of yell to really cleaning it up and really doing something beautiful with his vocals. So enjoy that. Instrumentally, I love the just sort of balance of heaviness and melodicness, which again, you'll find a lot of that throughout this entire record as well. And you can just hear kind of the more emotiveness from everything from the guitar work all the way to the vocals. I think they really kind of balance each other out, but also kind of encourage each other to do kind of more emotion and have just a little bit more punch to them. I think it is a fantastic opener. If you haven't listened to this single yet, I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorites off the record for sure. So we're gonna move into track number 2, which is Your Love. This one has more of a fullness to it, and I think that initially I felt like it took me a little bit of getting used to comparing it to Perish and just the other singles that had been released at the time. But this one really kind of, it's a nice change of pace. I think vocally it has more of Lucas's kind of more softer, more tender moments to it. You can definitely hear that more so in the verses, and I definitely like that approach, considering just how mostly heavy the stuff was in Parish. It's a nice kind of counterbalance to that as well. The chorus has this really awesome anthematic feel to it as well, and those just little bits of harmonies here and there are just nice additions to the track. I would have loved if they expounded upon that a little bit more. I think it would have made the track just that much better. But this one is another favorite of mine. I think that this one is just a phenomenal track nonetheless. So we're going to move into track number 3, which is Like a Shadow. This is another single that had been released. It is also another one of my favorites, despite it being more along the lines of a poppier sort of sound to it. It definitely has like a pop formula to it, and just kind of has that sort of catchiness and that poppy hook that really is super infectious, and I think it really kind of carries throughout the song, but really kind of crescendos at the chorus of the song. I like that really Lucas kind of pushes his vocal range. Not to say that he wasn't before, but I feel like this one really kind of culminates in a really nice way, and it adds a lot more range to what he's been doing so far as well. I really, again, feel like he pushed his vocals, and it came out really solid. Another really big portion of the song, or just a really big thing that I liked about the track, is it's a sort of synth and electronic backing and just layering in the song itself. It really adds a great backbone to the song, and I feel like a lot of people may not necessarily point that out initially, but it really kind of brings another like ethereal aspect to the track, and they really do that well. And to have them kind of, really kind of amp that out a little bit more in this track really pushes that song to that next level for me. I think that, while it being sort of more in the anthematic vibe, I think it really works with this overall tonality of the track. It is fantastic. Definitely one of my favorite singles out there. I'd say maybe like, if I had to number them out, I would say probably Perish, Like a Shadow, and You Are Everything are probably the two that are really close, and I think Monochrome has really kind of grown on me as well. But anyway, I'm getting a little sidetracked. We'll get into track number 4, which is You Are Everything. Like I had mentioned previously, it is another single that they had released off the record so far. I love the energy that the intro brings to this track. The verses kind of add this sort of whimsical quality to the song, but it really doesn't take away from it at all. I know that they really kind of play off that sort of softer verses, a little bit more punchier choruses sort of vibe and track record. So it's really cool to hear that. Again, I think that it picks up a little bit earlier in the sort of pre-chorus and chorus portion of the song, but I love the balance of how they kind of mix both the sort of heaviness but also the melodicness of what they do. I feel like they play a lot off of melodic hardcore as well, while despite them not having really realistic screams, I feel like they really work with that sort of tonal frame, and it works. The second verse is a nice sort of rhythmical change. I don't even know if that's a word, I made it up, but rhythmic change, I feel like feels a little bit more appropriate. But I love this track just for that. I think the switch up was really awesome. I think it makes it unique, it makes it memorable, and it was one of those things that I was like, yeah, that's one of the better songs off the record. Also, just that last minute of just super heaviness is kind of out of the blue. I think most people were kind of expecting it to kind of keep the same sort of sort of tonal framework, but I like that they kind of broke from it a little bit, and that last minute of the song is mint. I love it. So we're gonna move into track number 5, which is Marigold. This one is a nice change of pace, and just being kind of like more of the songs to just have a lot more energy. This one is a nice relaxer, a nice palate cleanser for sure. It is mainly just vocals and piano, and I love their uses of piano. There's another track later on in this record that I feel like utilizes it just that much more in the record, but I like that it shows off more of the softer, more ethereal qualities of Holding Absence, and I think it allows you to hear Lucas's voice at its most natural and kind of vulnerable state. You can really hear the just sort of emotiveness of Lucas. Not to say that you haven't heard it before, but it's there's something clean about just hearing vocals and just a singular instrument, whether it be guitar, piano, whatever it may be. I think it really works with the overall theming of what they're going for, and just being kind of more open and having that sort of lyrical point of view of where you can assimilate with the lyrics and stuff like that. And if you've been a fan of the channel, I don't really touch on that, but you can really pick out a lot of the sort of symbolism and stuff like that that's going on throughout the record, that they go over, just speaking about either personal experiences that they know that other people have went through, or bettering themselves as human beings. And I can appreciate that as being a reviewer and just a lover of music. It's really cool to hear. But getting back to Marigold, I think it is a phenomenal track. It's not one of my favorites, but I think it's a nice little sort of catch your breath sort of moment throughout this record. So we're gonna move into track number 6, which is Fall Asleep. This one's one of my favorites as well. I love this sort of cool drumming intro. It has this really sort of reverby sort of punch to it, as well as the guitar work that's really just ethereal and ambient, playing off of their whole vibe of doing that. If you feel like there was just kind of more of those sort of softer songs throughout the entire record, this one I feel like definitely gets a little bit heavier, especially towards the sort of latter half of this song. It really kind of sold me after that point, and after multiple listens, I definitely feel like it's on point with Parish for sure. I like that you can really hear Lucas kind of push in this track, like emotionally. You can hear it, especially in this sort of screams and the yells that he does on this record. It really kind of just, you can feel that sort of punch, and I love hearing that from vocalists. I think that is just something that, not to say that their lyrics aren't just emotional. I feel like this one you can definitely hear that, and as you're listening to it, you can just kind of feel your heart grown in such a way. So I love that about Lucas. I think he does a phenomenal job of kind of roping the audience in that respect. And this one finds another great balance of ambience and heaviness. It is a little bit more of a heavier track, especially towards the latter half, like I had mentioned, but the ambience really kind of shows its face at the beginning, and I definitely like the balance going on in between this track. So we're gonna move into track number 7, which is Monochrome. This is the last single and the most recent one, but it happens to be one of my favorites. And I think that upon listening to this many times, this one has definitely grown on me. I wasn't sold on it initially, but as I kept listening to it, I love this sort of overall poppy feel, much like a Shadow. I feel like those two kind of draw a lot of influences from modern sort of pop music, and maybe some more like off the beat sort of pop artists as well. But it really carries that weight. I think it offers more of the melodic side of what they do, and just kind of is a little bit more mellower as well, but just still on that same level of catchiness that you've come to know and love about this band. The chorus is really beautifully arranged. I'd say probably the second one was one of my favorite portions of the entire track as well, and I think it is another one that you can really hear the sort of emotiveness of Lucas. I feel like To Fall Asleep and this one have that sort of that tug and pull of just the vocalist and the person listening to it. At least that's how I felt about it, and I hope that maybe that might translate to you as well. So we're gonna move it into track number 8, which is A Godsend. This one, I like this one. I like that they're playing with Lucas's more lower register. I feel like most of his stuff is kind of mid-range, high range, just kind of like just full of energy, and this is a nice change of pace. I felt like it was a good moment in the record to kind of do something a little bit different, but it's still kind of in the same vein of what they're going for. This one has more of an electronic feel, and I think it kind of mirrors Marigold in that sort of sense as well, where it just, again, solo Lucas vocals and guitar work this time. It has a really sort of serene quality to it. I feel like a song that I would probably be listening to on a nice Sunday night drive, in the summer or springtime, when it's really beautiful out, and just cruising. It's a wonderfully arranged track. It is a little bit slow, but I think it fits with the sort of overall vibe that we're going for. So we're going to move into track number 9, which is Last of the Evening Light. This one is another favorite of mine as well. I think instrumentally it's one of my favorites. I love the chorus of this track. It is primo stuff going on here. It has a really uniqueness that I really can't kind of place my finger on. It has that sort of, again, melodic hardcore quality to it, but isn't entirely that, which is awesome. The screams slash kind of yells are really solid from Lucas. Again, I think he does an amazing job of kind of finding that balance vocally, especially in this song. I think he just accents the song that much more. And again, another really phenomenal track. It has some great energy to it, but also has some really great melodic moments as well. So we're going to move into track number 10, which is Purge. Much like Marigold and probably much like A Godsend, this one is more along the lines of an interlude. The piano work is phenomenal. I don't know who did the piano work on this record. I would assume it's probably one of the band members. But it is beautiful. I love the piano just mixed subtly throughout the entire record. It is a really nice treat, and I think that it really kind of beautifully accents the entire record. It offers just these sort of ethereal qualities that are really next level, and out of kind of these sort of more interlude sort of tracks, this one is definitely one of my favorites. Even though it's kind of a little bit under 2 minutes, I think it really works with the record. So we're gonna move into the last track number 11, which is Will, and this one's one of my favorites as well. I was really kind of worried initially just because the song is 6.5 minutes plus, but I was easily dismayed after listening to it. I think they really did a phenomenal job. I think it's a powerful closing track that really kind of brings together all of the best aspects of Holding Absence, kind of surmised into one track. Lucas just kind of puts that little bit of extra sauce on this one, and I appreciate that. Being kind of that closer track, it kind of just puts that exclamation point at the end of the sentence, and I really enjoy that. But I also appreciate that they really kind of maintain this sort of ambience, and I'd say probably the middle portion of the track really is where the ambience kind of shines, and the louder portions of the songs kind of play off of more of their heaviness, which is definitely nice. And I think it has some really great aspects and great ambience that kind of still, maintain and keep a uniqueness to what they do as a band. I think it is a great closing track, as I mentioned prior, and a wonderful way to end this record. So some pros and cons that I have. Some pros, I love just that this album kind of is like ambient meets heaviness, much of the same reasons why I love sort of melodic hardcore bands. I feel like they do that a justice. It kind of feels like almost like a melodic post-hardcore band in that sort of respect, while not having as much screaming. I think that it really works with what they're going for, and I think they just have this sort of uniqueness to them. Vocally, I love just the transcendence of soft to aggressive. I feel like Lucas kind of covers all of those bounds, and I would just love to hear him kind of just do a little bit more experimentation vocally wise. I love this sort of lower register in A Godsend, and I would love to hear him play off of that a little bit more. It would have been a nice little treat to have some more songs where vocally there's a little bit more experimentation, a little bit more push. I would have loved to hear that, but overall, just being kind of the quintessential Holding Absence record, I think it's a good start and a good baseline, absolutely. But this record isn't without its cons. There's a few cons. While they aren't major, I feel like they are some that I would love to hear maybe in a future release. I'd love the harmonies. I feel like they underutilize that a lot on this record, and there's some really great moments where they did it well, and I'd love to hear more of that. I think that vocally, just the range that Lucas is able to do, I would love to hear that, or have another member do harmonies on a future release. It would be awesome to hear that, and I think it would just add another depth and another layer to this band. Some of the interludes felt a little bit long too, but that's a minor gripe. I think that the interludes I actually did enjoy, and I feel like they bring a lot of balance and a good aspect ratio to the record. There aren't too many interludes, but if there are, they are utilized well, and I think that they offer a lot of benefits to the record. So my overall rating for Holding Absence's self-titled record, I'm going to be giving it a 9.8 out of 10. Definitely album of the year contender for sure. I've been jamming it for like the past couple weeks, and I can imagine I'll be jamming it for the rest of the year for sure. I know it is well early into 2019, but this record really kind of has those aspects of, post-hardcore, melodic hardcore, things of that nature into one band, and is one that I could listen to and not get tired of it. And I love that about this band. They've been a band for a pretty long time, and I'm glad to see that they're finally getting out there and people are finally finding out about them. But let me know in the comments what you think about this record. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? It comes out this Friday on Sharp Tone Records. Definitely go pick it up. I'm excited to get my pre-order in, and you guys should be excited for it as well. But if you enjoyed this review, please subscribe, hit that thumbs up, share it, let Holding Absence know that there's people out there that care about their band besides, the fans, obviously. But I'm being a fan myself. But if you could share it, that would absolutely mean the world to me. And thank you guys for all the happy birthday wishes. It means a lot as well too, whether you said it on social media or commented on a previous video. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to hear from you guys soon. Like I said, my name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com, and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.